Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Infigon Talks. My name is Ramani, and I will be the host for today's interview. Infigon Talks is a part of Infigon Future's flagship program, where mentors from various institutes motivate and inspire aspiring students across the country. There are over 35 crore students in India, and 95% of them do not receive any professional guidance while making crucial decisions. So, Infigon Futures is striving to bring a change in the scenario by providing career counseling and education guidance to the students. So, today, for our very first interview, we have Mr. Gurudatt Rao,
Oh,
an engineer from IIT Bombay with specialization in electronics and computer engineering from Ohio University, pursuing an entrepreneurial ambition of making the world a place by utilizing experience gained in the field of science and technologies, finance, and e-commerce. He's a founder of Zargun Electronics, which is a hard-tech solution provider with an intent of solving real-world issues that are arising in the waste management, smart city infrastructure, precision, agriculture, amongst others. Hello, Mr. Gurudat. We are honored to have you here with us.
yeah. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, as I was saying that you perceived your MTech from IIT Bombay and MS from Ohio University. So, our viewers would like to know what a normal day in IIT Bombay as well as in Ohio University looks like with the perspective of education system. So, did you notice any difference between the two or anything like that?
Yeah. So I would like to first add that in both the scenarios, like especially like in the Indian ecosystem, IIT Bombay is like one of the best. And when we are going to the overseas education platform,
Yeah.
the entire academic structure about taking courses, about grading, about take-home exams, it's pretty different. So if we talk specifically from like local universities like Mumbai, Delhi, etc., there we don't have this
Yeah.
robustness about learning, about applying knowledge. Whereas if you go to IIT Bombay or in Ohio State, it's more so pivoted towards one specific thing, that whatever you're learning, you're meant to apply it. So it's not a marks oriented impetus which is there, but it's an application oriented impetus. So that is somewhere it's the underlying fact. So that's what most of the companies in Silicon Valley or in Boston, in Massachusetts, they look out for. So that's what I would like to highlight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, at the end, I guess it doesn't matter if the gap prevails or not between the education system. I guess what matters is one's will to achieve something and working hard
Right.
towards it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I wasn't aware actually that, such a big gap actually exists actually between the two education systems. So, as you're speaking of achievements, you are also the founder of Jargon Electronics. So,
Right.
when and why did you think of starting your own company? Like, why 9 to 5? Why not 9 to 5 job? Why your own company?
So I'll add to it that after graduating from IIT Bombay, I was like a core researcher in Taiwan, where I was working on
That's great.
semiconductor work, which powers processors for Apple, Qualcomm. So after that, one thing that I understood is that these are all consumer based application, means something that is not solving an immediate problem per se. Now
Yeah.
what are the real problems in the real world? It's basically with regards to water, it's with regards to environment, it's with regards to education. So these are the
True.
areas which I really wanted to focus on. So whatever I had learned, I wanted to apply that. So that was my basic understanding more than anything. So hence I decided that okay, now is a good time to focus on problem solving rather than looking for going for something and having a very laid back, not laid back, but like a little bit of secure life. So entrepreneurial dream is a little bit different, but it has a lot of excitation and a lot of challenges to it.
Yeah, surely, surely. That's really commendable, as you said about you were in Taiwan and working for it. So that's really great.
Right.
So as you said that, being an entrepreneur is a little bit challenging and tricky. So I would
Right.
like to ask you, that's my very next question, that what would you say are the three skills needed to be a successful entrepreneur? Because success is very subjective element for an individual.
Absolutely.
So what does success look like to you for a company?
So see, if you would ask me like three things which are like very much essential for a success, um, correct me if I'm wrong, like if I'm getting the question wrong, like you can correct me, but also at the
Yeah.
same time, like if you're talking from the success for any company, one is like what is the impact that they're making for the end user. Like you can take the example for Zomato, Cred, etc. They're causing some impact. Second is what is the whether the growth is sustainable, means like whether they are growing on venture capitalist money or whether they are making profit and growing by themselves. And third, but not the least, is like what is the impact it's having on the society. Like you have startup apps like PUBG and Ludo and everything, but they're not adding any value to it. Now in case of Infigon, you guys are having like an app which is adding value to the educational ecosystem. So that is something which is required, which adds value, which gives people direction rather than a short-term gratification. So this is somewhere I feel is very much important for every startup, and this is like the metric on which the success can be actually gauged.
Yeah, surely, surely. So basically, entrepreneurship education actually provides everybody to identify, address challenges and opportunities. To sum it all up. So
Right.
earlier, you also, yeah, you said about those skills as well. So I think the earlier we learn those skills, I guess the easier it will become to overcome our challenges that we
Right.
face in a startup or something. So the early stage is what I mean is school. So what is your take on teaching entrepreneurship in schools?
Okay. So, see, honestly, entrepreneurship, like normally our understanding of entrepreneurship is where we have like somebody who's like hustling 24/7, all those things. But
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is more so of a mindset. It's nothing more than that. Like somebody who identifies a problem and tries to have a very iterative approach to solve it, and they are very relentless with it. So that is something which is like an entrepreneurial mindset, which then translates into a business. Now there are many entrepreneurs who actually don't have a business model, anything, but they're doing good. So when even at the school stage, recently there have been a lot of the recent one, I'll give you an example. So there is a company called as NXP Semiconductors. So NXP had come up with a challenge especially for solving some of their operational issues, and they gave it to the kids of their employees, and they came up with very innovative solution, because the thing was like they were not biased. Like normally adults are biased, so kids who
Yes.
are like four like between 5 years and 10 years, they don't have any biases as such. So they were given a problem and they were asked like, okay, go ahead and solve it. And they were like, okay, you have some incentive, but at the same time solve it and see how what you can do. And they came up
Yeah.
with different solutions. So basically at that time, if they're taught how to solve the problem, and allowed to give a perfect route or like a conduit for their creativity, that's the best thing that's possible. So with regards to what you asked, is that whether it should be taught in schools, I think they should be given problems and motivated to go ahead and try it out, and not be reprimanded for not coming up with the solution. Because normally our system works that if we don't get marks, we are reprimanded. So that's how it should be.
Yeah, truly, rightly said, actually. So again, students leaders. So I truly agree to what you said, and I'm sure our viewers would agree to that too.
Right.
Coming back to the success. So, in order to achieve success, a lot of preparation is needed. As I said, that is why I asked you, why is it important to teach entrepreneurships in schools? So that, once we start preparing it at an early stage, I guess success is likely to come at our way. So basically, but nothing is served on a plate directly. Everyone has to work hard to reach
Right.
somewhere. So
Yes.
yeah, in order to that, everybody has to face hurdles, you know. So I'm sure you must have faced hurdles too in your entrepreneurial journey. So how did you overcome
Right.
those challenges? I would like to know. You can share your personal
Yes.
experience, maybe.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So see, normally one of the challenges that any entrepreneur faces, like they have a good problem, they have a good market, good fit, etc., is like with regards to the monetary. So we made it a point that we will not go in for like funding or anything of that sort, seed capital, etc. Because we did a lot of assessment with regards to the prior companies, etc. And we understood that for many of them it was like a drug addiction. It's like no capital, no work. So we thought that okay, we'll bootstrap it, we'll go it to some extent, we'll give it to the end user, we'll monetize it, and we'll monetize it, and then give it to the end user with minimal capital, minimal investment, and as you rightly pointed out, for institutions or for organizations,
Yeah.
nobody makes us clear that okay, this is education, now you can do whatever you want, like job is just one venue. So the thing is that here majority of the people who we interacted, their first approach was like, okay, how much am I going to get paid, what am I getting out of it, what am I getting out of it? And like, dude, this is entirely a venture where we are trying to solve a problem. If you're motivated, you come here, because we are doing it for the real fun of solving the problem rather than the motivation for the money. So getting skilled manpower was another big challenge. And the third but most important, because we are not a entirely startup which was focused on software, we had a hardware component to it. So for getting a place, uniting people, getting it at a low cost, all those things were there. So we worked it out by engaging people. So it required a lot of like maneuvering to get things done, but this was the holistic problem, and I think every startup has some different version of this.
Yeah, rightly said, actually. So I agree to what you said, and I guess our viewers will agree to that too. So on a final note, I would like to ask you, what piece of advice would you like to give the students who want to become entrepreneurs of tomorrow, who want to think out of box, basically, who want to not, as you said, follow the same path and motivate themselves for the money, as rather than they want to motivate themselves to solve the problems in the society. So
Right.
what message would you like to give them?
Right. So see, during my past 2 years of having my own startup, I've gone to different colleges, judged their projects, and many of them do wonderful work. Like, I'm being very honest, and the thing is that they don't take it out to the like to the market, to give it to end users to test it out, go and then give it out to in the market to test it out. So people have like restricted themselves to like, just like a BTech project, or maybe just like a 10 standard project. But if they actually go ahead and do it, that in turn will like give a lot of impetus with regards to or how they can make their idea into a startup. That's one. Second thing is
Yeah.
that experience cannot be substituted. So if you get an opportunity into a good corporate just to get exposure, go ahead and experience it. There are very good companies, there are companies like L&T, Siemens, ABB. Go ahead, get the exposure, and then work on it, because end of the day, experience does give you an upper hand over somebody who is not experienced. Third is that do not believe in whatever people say who have not gone through that journey. That's the
Yeah,
most
log kya
important.
kahenge.
Exactly. Please, it's very important that if the person has gone through that journey, just listen to him. If the person has not gone through it, just apply the filter. Don't listen to that person. And end is like whatever you're getting into, please do your research. If you do your research thoroughly, understand whether it's relevant, because there were two undergrad students who did an amazing product, but the point was that when they went to the market, the sizing of the product was completely a mismatch. So they just hadn't done
Oh,
end market reviews. The need was there, but there was a mismatch. So I'm just trying to say that it's better to do a thorough review, keep the user in the loop, and then only go ahead and work on it. Don't do on assumptions don't work. So that's what the entire thing is.
Yes, it's basically like superstitions.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yes, it was lovely having you here. Thank you for leading us your precious time. Whatever insights you gave, it was really enlightening. I guess many of the viewers will actually have taken notes. Maybe I myself am going to take notes. I am really pleased and wowed by what you actually gave insights on. So, for the viewers, see you next time. Until then, for what it's worth, drop a like, share, and subscribe.